Hello everyone, this is me again, Welike Sophia from Exploring Deeper, and I thought it's about time to talk with you about love again and attachment strategies. It's been a while. So, a brief introduction. We all attach to people. We do. We're social animals. We do. And some of us feel very safe doing that. For some of us, it's easy to let other people close, to establish relationships and friendships, and to feel safe in that. And that's what people call a secure attachment pattern, where you feel safe and secure attaching to people and let them attach to you. Some of us have that, and I think it's a comfortable way of moving through relationships in life if you have that secure attachment system. And many of us don't have a secure attachment system. We may have grown up in an environment that didn't feel safe. Maybe we had parents or other people around us that did not show us how to safely attach to others, or who are not safe persons to attach to. And there's of course many more influences than just our parents. It's also a genetic predisposition, like are our brains developed in a way that we're easily afraid or not? What's the country we grew up in? Did we grow up with racism? Did we grow up, there's so many factors of influence in how we attach to people. So many of us don't feel safe attaching to people. Very broadly, generally speaking, there's two ways of dealing with that. And the one way is to really cling to attachment, to really hold on to something, which is called an anxious attachment pattern. It's when you have a fear of abandonment. So when you want people close, very close, but actually you're also very afraid of that. And then there is, on the other hand, there's the avoidance strategy, where when someone comes too close, we will push them away again. So we always keep this certain distance between us. And today I want to talk a bit more about the anxious attachment style and how to work with that. So how do you know when you have an anxious attachment style? One of the main things that I notice in me, I'm more, if you are insecure in attachment, you can have both actually. It's not that you have one attachment style, like either avoidant or anxious. My feeling is, or my experience is, that we actually can switch from one to the other depending on who we are with, what their attachment pattern is, how we feel, what the mood of the day is. We can switch back and forth, so being anxious one day and more avoidant the other day. But most of us, we do have a preferred style. So mine is definitely more on the anxious side of things. And I notice that, for example, when I text a beloved and they are not texting me back within the time range that I'm expecting them to text back, I get really nervous. I might check my phone all the time. And if it takes some time before they respond, my mind will create distortion stories. So my mind will create stories of, all the people they're having sex with at that moment, that they'll never come back, that they'll won't love me anymore, all of those things. So my head creates these stories that really terrify me and basically like iterate the story of I'm not lovable. People don't want to be with me. By the way, if you want to go deeper into all this is an amazing book. It's called Attached by Levin and Heller, and it's when I was reading it, I was crying. I felt very caught. Yeah. So they're mentioning a few more anxious qualities, like how you can notice that you're anxious. It's for example, you always remember the good stuff about someone. You're putting them on a pedestal. You're aware of their good qualities, but not so much of their. You're not very critical of their other qualities. You can have like this anxious feeling that only goes away when you're with them. Yeah, so when I was a lot in open relationships, and I could have that a lot when my partner would be with another person. I would feel terrified and like only feel better when they would be back into communication again. But also if I have a beloved that I see not every day, I might feel like this uncomfortable feeling until I get a message from them, until I see them again. Yeah. They also mention, for example, that we think like this is our only shot at love. So we have to hold on to this person, because if we don't hold on to this person, then we'll never find someone like that again, and we'll never be loved. And the anxious person also has their strategies of re-establishing connection. And those strategies are not always the handy ones. So, for example, if the anxiousness is activated and we want to re-establish connection, the anxious person might actually go into withdrawing from contact, like on purpose not answering a message, so that the other person might start to feel uncomfortable and reach out to, which will give that kind of false sense of confirmation. Another one, and I must admit I've done that, is making the other person jealous. So sharing with them about all the cute people that you met, all the people that were hitting on you, all the people that want you. So, to make them uncomfortable. It's not the healthy ways of reestablishing connection. Let me repeat that. Another one, threatening to leave. Ooh, threatening to leave is a very strong one. Manipulations, acting busy or unapproachable. So actually creating more distance, like fake creating more distance, so that the other person will come to you to reestablish connection. Now, the thing is that when you are anxious, like I think in all relationship patterns, when we are on one side of things, we easily attract people who are on the other side of things. So if you're noticing, if you're listening to this now and you're like, oh my God, I do have some of those tendencies, then the odds are quite high that you attract people who are on the other side, so who have more avoidant tendencies. And you recognize people with avoidant tendencies, they have trouble committing. So they have this fear of, how do you say, fear of connection. The word's gone for the moment. Fear of, they're afraid to be captured. So you can see that they often have more short relationships. Sometimes people are avoidant moving to non-monogamy I'm all for non-monogamy, by the way, but sometimes people with an avoidance strategy move into non-monogamy because it's an easy way to not really attach. Fear of commitment is what I wanted to say. It's an easier way to not fully commit to one love. So to spread the commitment over different loves. It can be, I don't say it is, but it can be a strategy for avoiding people to choose non-monogamy. Sometimes you see it in other aspects of their life. They might not have a stable job. They might not have a home where they live. They might just be everywhere. They might avoid commitment in many ways. Being avoidant in relationships can also be one strategy that is used often, is to refuse sex. So to create distance by not having physical interaction. It might be that they say something sweet and kind and like a compliment the 1 second, and then they say something not a compliment to create distance again the next second. So they might, keep creating distance. And the thing is, we attract each other. So these two strategies often attract each other, and then there is this dance where the avoidant person might be withdrawing from the contact, so creating more distance, and the avoidant person might be like, oh, but that's actually more distance than I want, and come a bit closer, and then this person might come closer again, and they might go a bit further again. It's an endless dance if people are not aware of their strategies. What I want to share today is a bit more personal story. It's like exactly a year ago, I'll post a link. I was posting a video about me connecting to someone who felt more secure from the place where I was, and who actually activated my avoidance strategies. And it's very interesting, like looking back at that now, I could see that, me being more anxious, I was attracting something different. I was actually attracting someone that I think was more anxious than I am. So when someone else is more anxious than I am, I flip from being anxious into being avoidant. And I had this deep experience of what it's like to actually feel an avoidance strategy in myself, which was really intense. It's really intense to feel this avoidance. I always thought like people with an avoidance strategy were like, overreacting, that they should just stay, that it's not so hard to stay. But actually it is. It's a very intense experience. So if you want to, I'll post a link in the comments later on. I'll post a link below, and then you can see me talking about that part. And now, now I'm realizing new things. We can heal our attachment patterns. We can definitely work on them. I think they'll never completely disappear if they're like strongly wired in you. But with awareness, we can, understand why we relate to people the way we do. And really, it's life-changing because we relate to people all the time. It's in our romantic relationships, but it's also in friendships, colleagues, and all these other places where this will also play out. So understanding our attachment dynamics, I think for everyone who wants to relate to people, it's necessary to understand how it works. And to me, I'm noticing that the more I understand why I work the way I do, it's really helping. And it's strong, these patterns are strong, and the impact on our well-being is really strong. So when I really go into my insecure place, it's overwhelming. It's the only thing I might think about is that relation and that person. It's completely taking over my day. So what I'm noticing now is that with working on this, understanding how I work, and I made so many videos on this, so if you want to see more strategies of how I've been working on that, then really go to my blog, exploringdeeper.com, and check for videos and blog posts about this. What I'm noticing now, I'm being watched by a cat in my garden. I'm exploring love with a gorgeous human being, which I'm very grateful for. And it's really beautiful. And this person, he feels more secure than anyone I've ever related with before. And it's so amazing what's happening inside of me. There's two main things that are happening that I want to share with you. So I am used to have partners or lovers who are like me on this, this dynamic of attachment challenges. So whatever pattern I have, it clicks with the pattern of the other person. Like it sticks together and it works. Whether I have awareness on it or not, it's still a dynamic. There is this certain kind of, it's like almost like magnetism. This dance is happening. Sometimes on a hormonal level or nervous system level that's not necessarily the conscious mind. But now, having these interactions with this person who is super calm, super stable, and welcoming everything that's happening in me, like really welcoming everything that's happening in me without judgment, without getting upset, without anything. It's like it's not sticking. My patterns are not sticking. My patterns aren't working. And the two things that are happening. The first thing that happens is that it's amazing. It's really amazing. It's calming my head. It's like when I share, because I've learned, like one of the things I've shared in my previous videos is that what works for me in healing my attachment dynamics is expressing them. So being really honest, to not say, you make me feel uncomfortable, but to say like, hey, right now I'm noticing I'm feeling uncomfortable. I'm noticing that you did not answer my message for the last few days, and this is what's happening in me. So I'm not blaming them. I'm really like explaining what's happening in me, or I'm explaining what I need. So, what I need is when you go away for 2 days to please let me know in advance so that I know that that's what's going to happen. So now this person is communicating with me from centeredness. So not from his own attachment challenges, but from something that feels to me as a calm, stable place. And the confirmation that I get, so when I share about my feelings and when I share about my fears and insecurities, the response is very calm. It's not any false confirmation. It's just, answering my questions or sharing about his day. And what happens in my head is that it really calms down. It's like, hey, we're not playing that game. And that's actually, it makes me relax. It makes me relax into this interaction. It makes me feel safe in this intimacy. And that's amazing. That's beautiful. It's like really calming my nervous system. So that's the one part that happens. And that's really healing. It's really healing. to feel like, oh, I am actually safe in this interaction. This is not a dance. This is no manipulation. We're not playing that game again. But on the other hand, what happens is that my fears don't stick. You know, my fears don't stick. It's like I want to give him something, my issues, and he's not even noticing that I'm like handing that. He's just sitting there and like being this mirror, giving it back to me. So what happens is that whatever I'm trying to put with the other person is coming right back at me. It's just that, like, in the moment, I getting like real time Twitter updates of my own processes, which is super uncomfortable because I need to deal with my insecurity. He's not giving me false confirmation, so I need to deal with whatever is coming up for me. So I'm noticing through this, I'm encountering new layers, deeper layers of all my old beliefs of not being lovable. Like these old beliefs that basically created my attachment challenges is like these deep beliefs that nobody really loves me. I'm not worth love. I'm not worth making an effort for. Like all these beliefs actually come back like in my face strongly because I cannot play them out. And it takes something, because my strategy, like the strategies I'm noticing in my head, are like wanting to go bigger. Okay, it's not working, so let me go bigger. You know what? I'm gonna step out of this connection. I'm not even gonna do this. I'm not even gonna relate with this person. I'm out. That's one of the things that my head is saying. Or these manipulation strategies do want to come up. Like, okay, you know what? I waited longer for the message than I thought I wanted to wait. Now let me be quiet. You know, I like all these little things, or thoughts like, he probably doesn't really want me in his life. He probably doesn't really, all these thoughts come up too. So it takes quite a bit of self-reflection to actually be in this and stay in this, and to not jump back in my old patterns of anxiousness and an anxious attachment dynamics, but to actually change something and to actually heal something. So if you recognize anything of this, let me know. Share your story with me, and know that it takes commitment. It's not easy to change attachment dynamics because they run so deep. My feeling is that they're so deeply wired in our brains, and attachment is all about safety, is about community. It's about being alive, essentially. When we were still hunter-gatherers, if we depended on our attachment, we depended on other people's responses to be safe, we depended on our community to actually be alive. So this goes super, super deep to the old parts of our brains. This goes really, really deep. So the impact on how we feel, the impact of something simple as flirting can have huge impact on how we feel on a daily basis. So please be gentle, please be kind with all your feelings, whatever they are. And feel free to share and reach out and share your story. I'd love to hear from you. I hope this helped. Take good care. I'm sending you so much love. And until next time. Mwah.